the management joins us. They recently highlighted in the investor meet, in the moving towards the Vision 2020, reiterating the growth targets that they had. But I think they also gave a sneak peek into what the company could do beyond 2020. And I think those plans entailed moving beyond the automotive business as well, if I'm not wrong. But let's get in Mr. Vivek Chaand Sehgal to talk about all of this, about what this whole electric vehicle buzz is about and whether companies will get impacted ever so immediately, or will it happen over a period of time? Mr. Sehgal, good having you. Thanks so much for joining in. Before we talk about Motherson, just I request you to wear the industry hat and tell us, a lot of investors are worried, and worried may be a strong term, but are a bit unsure about the impact that this whole electric vehicle influx will have on the auto component industry, not necessarily for you, but for the industry at large. Do you think it will be fall off a cliff, or will it be a lot more gradual in nature?
I think what's important is to understand whether it is possible for you to actually compress time and then do it. At this particular moment, the electric vehicles in the world are not even, in our estimate, it's around 770,000 cars a year, while the total sale of cars is approximately 92 million cars. So I really don't understand why everybody is so fearsome of this particular change. It's not a disruption. It's just another option to drive the car. I mean, there is no, whatever the hype that people are creating, we are okay with that. As Motherson, we are agnostic to it. But I feel that it is a bit overdone. There's a lot of possibilities. It's a very exciting thing. But the first Porsche made in the world was an electric engine. So people have already been there and come back. There are certain challenges. Those particular challenges have to be overcome. And depends upon how fast the world will react to these requirements. And if they react very fast, all the governments react very well, it's going to happen maybe in 10, 15, 20 years. So we're okay with that. And it also opens up tremendous amount of opportunities for existing technologies to also disrupt this electric vehicle. So, we can go on.
Let's talk about the company, Mr. Sehgal. I think this investor meet that you had fairly recently, if I'm not wrong, spoke about you reiterating your Vision 2020, which is revenues at about $18 billion and the return on capital at about 40%. What's the ask rate, Mr. Sehgal, from where we are right now to that point of time on an annual basis for Motherson Sumi? Because the notes say that their estimates were slightly lower. They were happily and positively surprised, or happy and positive with the reiteration that you've done. I just wanted to know what's the ask rate.
So, ask rate and all these particular things are something, if you have a strategy for this particular, that I have to hit $18 billion or something like that. Motherson never has such kind of philosophy. We are a globally preferred solution provider. At this particular moment, we are inundated by requests from a lot of the car makers and vehicle manufacturers, which are asking us to look at companies which are in trouble and things like that. So for us, our job is to ensure that our stakeholders are people who have confidence that Motherson will not grow only for top line. In fact, we follow our guru's principle, which is top line is vanity, bottom line sanity, and cash and bank reality. So I personally believe that Motherson has a clear commitment to its target. We feel that if things are as they are coming, we should be in a position to achieve our 2020 target with 40% growth, and maybe even a year earlier if 2 or 3 things happen very quickly. So we believe that the whole management has its head on its shoulders, and we will not get carried away only by top line. Because if the news was in the papers which has been printed for the last 2.5 years is to be believed, then we would have already crossed our 18 billion. So it's not such a impossible task or something for us.
Mr. Sehgal, good morning. This is Menaka here at BloombergQuint. Just curious, I understand that over the last 2 years, both your geography and client mix have seen big changes. Can you talk us through what you expect the trend will be in the next couple of years?
There is not much left really to whom we are not supplying. What we do is we have a clear strategy that we have a 3CX15, which means no customer, no country, no component more than 15% of our turnover. And in this age where all the models are getting squeezed up and the model life is getting shorter and shorter, this augurs actually very well, because what we are doing is we're not committing to one customer, one model, and one component. We're into multiplicity of components, and we will keep on increasing our content per car. So when we increase that, we can easily increase our targets to what we are talking about. So it's not related to the car production as such. It's more towards what we call the content per car. So if I'm supplying $100 to a car, can I supply 150? That's already 50%, 30% up. So in that sense, Motherson is moving, and that's how in 1993 we were only $2.2 million. Today we are $9.2 billion in the last year. So that's the growth of 4,500% is because of increasing content per car.
No, I get that. I just wanted to try and understand if we are going to see, for instance, I'm looking at a Deutsche Bank report on your company that suggests that customer concentration is decreasing in line with what you've just explained to us. The revenue share of Volkswagen and Audi has come down from 34% to 24%. Daimler share has doubled from 5 to 10%. I just wanted to know if what we can expect in the next 2 years, not just in terms of client mix, but also in geography mix, and whether that has any substantive, especially the geography mix changing, has any substantive impact on your financials.
So, great question. The point is, it could depend a lot upon our acquisitions and what components we are going to acquire, what companies in which geographies. So one doesn't plan on something which we really can't control, because if we are to follow our customers' dictate, then we are always open to ideas, open to new geographies, open to whatever they want us to do, as long as we are solving their problem. So really, we don't spend too much time thinking on these particular things.
Okay. You made a comment in an earlier answer where you said that your clients have been reaching out to you regarding companies that are not doing very well. I imagine you were referring to, and correct me if I'm wrong, your acquisition strategy from here on. Can you talk us through what that's going to be? I'm sure it is all in best principles that all companies follow. You will look for value, you will look for quality, but any geographical specifics that you can give us in terms of your acquisition strategy, or even what kind of money you're looking to put behind inorganic expansion?
So let me just correct you a little bit here. Motherson has never grown because of our own strategy. In fact, we have 19 acquisitions to date. We have 39 joint ventures, and every one of them except one, which was the original one of wiring harness, which Motherson did of its own accord. All others are having some way or the other trying to solve a customer's problem. So we've never woken up in the morning and said, okay, I want to acquire this guy or I want to acquire this guy. So we believe that our niche area is to help the customer solve his problems globally. And that's why we can give you umpteen examples, like, for example, an American company asking an Indian company to go down to, say, South Africa to solve their problems. So we are agnostic to just a thought that, we're going to conquer the world tomorrow or something. We don't like that idea at all. We just follow. And in fact, this particular strategy was visioned in our annual report of 1997. So it's already 20 years of great success in following this particular strategy.
Sehgal, just curious to know what's left to buy, where you're looking next.
Oh, we still don't do more than 2% of any particular car, 2.5% at the max, I think. So there is a lot. And believe me, we have a huge pipeline of requests from the customers, what they want us to buy. And we believe that that is enough for us to cross our 2020 target.